this. Somewhat related to Valve. We talked about, like, Valve's worst kept secret about Deadlock, right? And by the way, Deadlock lifted NDAs. You can now stream it. You can talk about it. We might play it today. I have it downloaded. I might play it for the very, very first time today, right? It's completely public. You can see it now. I still think it is invite only. It is. So you need to get an invite. I have an invite. I could play it. But the funniest thing about this is, if you don't know, there's a game called Concord. And, well, I think this tweet summarizes this very, very well. Even the worst game of 2023 had more Steam players on its release day than Concord. And I believe Concord is like a $100 million game or something like that. It is a excruciatingly expensive game. We've seen cinematic trailers for the game in every single game showcase I think I've watched over the past, like, 2-3 years on the channel. So it's been in development for, I think it was in development for 8 years, actually, is what I saw today. So there's that. All of that money is basically gone. Now, to be fair, this is, I think, like a PlayStation forward game. So it's not like this is all the players, because this also released on Epic Store, and it also released on PlayStation. So, to be fair, the Gollum game might not actually have more players than Concord. However, they burned a lot of money. And then, at the same time, Valve announces their new game that is a hero shooter. And the thing is, a lot of people have come up with a lot of different reasons why this game completely failed, right? And there's a lot of reasons. Like, the characters are not appealing. They're like the most stereotypical. They're just not inspiring. You know, when you look at Overwatch heroes, every single one of them they have so much personality. It's so cool. Every single one of Overwatch heroes, no matter what you think of the game, every single one is cool. All of them. All of them have so much personality. Concord doesn't really have that at all. But I want to give you a much, much simpler example. Not an example, but an explanation, right? Concord is a hero shooter, right? So is Deadlock. Now, again, all these games will obviously be slightly different, but fundamentally, they are hero shooters. Concord comes out. Where's the thing to open it on Steam? It's not there. Concord. Why does it? Please don't tell me it's region locked. Is it region locked? Oh my god, it might be region locked. That would be... Oh my god, I think this is even funnier. So it's region locked. I can't even play it. Incredible. Anyway, it costs like $40. Then there's Marvel Rivals, right? Which, during its playtest, brought in 52,000 people. That's a lot of people. Why did that happen? Because it's free. And then you look at Overwatch. Even on Steam, and keep in mind, a vast majority of Overwatch's player base is on Battle.net, right? Even Overwatch is pulling 53,000 players. Why? Because it's free. So Concord comes in with a non-established IP, with a lot of bad will around it, not goodwill, bad will, and it costs $40. I don't know who thought this was a good idea. This was insane. This was absolutely insane, because if people say that Marvel Rivals will kill Overwatch, and now Deadlock comes out, which is yet another competitor in the space, how can you drop a game that people were being very mixed about, like, as soon as it was premiered, and make it $40, and then make it region lock, because I can't even play this. It doesn't even show up on the store, I think, for me. Yeah, unavailable in my region. So, who in their right mind thought this was a good idea? I would love to talk to PlayStation's, like, publishing agents and their, like, public relations agents and everything else. Because I don't say this often. I don't. Because I usually don't think this is true. I think I could do a much better job in marketing games than they do. This is mind-boggling to me. I do think that, like, the simplest explanation for this is just the fact that the game is uninspired. Because if you look at, like, Marvel's numbers, Marvel's, like, biggest, every single person basically roasted Marvels for just being Overwatch, right? But look at the numbers it's pulling. It is pulling very, very respectable figures, even during a playtest, that people couldn't play, right? So this was a exclusive playtest that you had to get access to, but it still pulled very, very, very good numbers. Concord never even did that, just because it doesn't look like a good game. It's a very, very funny situation. Out of curiosity, is Wukong region locked? No, it's not. Wukong is not region locked at all. There it is, right there. Literally any self-respecting developer would not region lock Europe. I don't know what PlayStation is on. I think PlayStation, with them like taking the massive L with Helldivers, because Helldivers is still not available to me either, by the way. Helldivers 2. Yeah. See, it's not there. I don't know what they're doing. I genuinely think PlayStation came to the PC market, and I was like, finally. They're finally learning, right? Because games like The Last of Us are on Steam. And it's perfectly fine. Everyone's loving it. It's great. But then they come out with this region locking thing. Then they come out with like a half-baked game that no one's gonna like, and they make it $40. I genuinely don't know who is doing the publishing for PlayStation. Because I think they need to be fired. I do. I think whoever is doing like their PC division, and even more so like their publishing division, period, I think they need to be fired because they have lost PlayStation. I don't even want to think about how much money they've lost PlayStation. It is insane. Because a game like Wukong, they will get my money. And I would have loved to play Helldivers 2. But I can't. So they're not getting my money. And most of all, I am never buying a PlayStation brick. I'm not. I already made the decision that regardless of how Grand Theft Auto comes out, I am not buying a PlayStation. I'm not buying a console at all. Never. I think what happened, if you want to hear my honest take on this, I think PlayStation dominated this generation of consoles to such a ludicrous degree. Let me see if I can find the market share. That they basically got lazy. It's exactly the same thing that happened with Xbox like many years ago. Can someone just please make a... I mean, I guess this works. As you can see, Sony is doing very good. And I think what happened, this is 2023, so this is like a whole year ago. I think they got complacent, and, well, this is the outcome of that. I think Helldivers is like an even better example of what complacency looks like. I think they really, really lack any sort of like forward thinking. And I think their walled garden approach will work forever, even though it's clearly not working. In my opinion, anyway. Maybe it's just because I am a consumer who has kind of been fed up with all this stuff, you know? Like, I also, I didn't buy the WoW expansion yet. I'm gonna buy it on launch. Or I guess, which by the way is a whole nother thing. Blizzard started posting spoilers for their own expansion that hasn't even launched. Which is very funny. But yeah. So here we are. Gollum has had more players than Concord. And the best thing about this, by the way, is that this game is, if it's dead on arrival, it is like an absolute failure because it's a live service game. That's the best thing about this. A live service game, it's a death spiral. There is no coming back. There is no, it gets better. There is no, we're going to patch it. There is no, we're going to fix it. If it comes out with these numbers, it's dead on arrival and it's going to death spiral immediately and it's going to be shut down. Which in my book is a W. Because it shouldn't have existed in the first place, probably. That is what we call an elbozo. Sony needs to start taking L's. They do. They need to start farming some serious L's so that they finally start to realize that maybe we can't just keep scooting off of like a one generation that we dominated. With stuff like Game Pass and Microsoft really going hard on the whole publishing angle. Because I mean, Microsoft keeps winning if it's like PC. It doesn't matter what they have. But PlayStation just like, they need to get knocked down a peg. Get L's if they don't have games. Well, they do have a game now. It's called Concord. They do have a game now. A very, very expensive game. Every uneven numbered PlayStation. I just hope that... Because, oh my god. The thing that bothers me the absolute most about all of this is people who defend consoles. Imagine defending something that is fundamentally anti-consumer. I think any person who defends exclusivity of any kind is incredibly immature, and they literally do not realize that they are being used by a billion-dollar company to exploit. I don't even know what they're exploiting, except being weird and making a literal brick their personality. Exclusivity is fundamentally predatory. I don't want to call it predatory, but it's exploitative. I'll defend consoles because I don't have money, so buying consoles is good for the price. It's not, though. Buck for buck, basically, the way the console market works is they sell you a console at a loss, right? So they are losing money on the console. That's why they're relatively cheap compared to a PC. but you get less sales. If you look at like the average dollar cost of a game on PC, it will always, without exception, be lower on a computer. Always, without exception. There is zero exceptions whatsoever. It will always be cheaper on PC. So, what is the thing you buy more of? Games, right? The console is only like the first thing you buy. And with the way games are priced now, you're gonna make the money back with a computer extremely quickly. Like, extremely quickly. And what is a computer? It's a computer. What is a console? It's just a console. I don't even think that nowadays consoles actually purely like dollar for dollar value. I don't think consoles are even better. I buy enough games to make up for that value. I just casually play 1 to 2 games a year. Well, 1 to 2 games a year, that's still 120 buckaroos, you know? Plus the console, I mean, I would actually be very interested for someone to do like a meta-analysis on buying games. PCs are complicated to set up. That is like a extremely old myth that hasn't been true for like 20 years. A console is literally just a PC with a clean UI. That's all it is. If you buy a pre-compiled PC, there is zero difficulty whatsoever. You download Steam, this wonderful app right here. We're just having a sale literally at this very moment. You load this up and you start gaming. And if you're a console Andy, just get a Steam Deck. I can guarantee you'll get more value from a Steam Deck than you ever will from a console. Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. Not sponsored by Valve. If you look at my background, I was once a console Andy. That is a Wii. That is a PlayStation 1. And I also have an Xbox down there. But then I saw the light. I saw the light. I realized I was being dumb. I just pay for Game Pass and occasionally buy games when I see a good sale, or if something's something I want to play on day one. I mean, yeah, with Game Pass, that's like an even bigger value add. The value of a clean UI for the average person that only plays FIFA and Call of Duty. Yeah, but I think the average tech literacy of the average person has gone up drastically, and claiming that like a person can't maneuver through Steam is ridiculous. I would bet everything I have that setting up like the initial setup of PlayStation is probably, if not more complicated, then just as complicated as just downloading Steam. Because going through the whole setting up your Wi-Fi, setting up your account, adding a payment method, all of those things, they are also tricky on a console. It's not, people say that like you just buy a console, slot in the disc and it works. No, it's not. It hasn't been like that since like the PlayStation 1. Every single one of them is like, you gotta log in, you gotta set up your internet connection, then there's a mandatory patch that's gonna download, and then your disc doesn't even work because it's like, I don't even know, it's like region locked or something. There are so many different steps on a console that people like to ignore. And it's ridiculous to me. I don't think consoles will ever disappear. I don't think they'll disappear either. I think they'll literally just become a, let me put it this way. And maybe this is mad cope. This might be mad cope. This could easily be mad cope. I think if someone like Valve put out what is basically a Steam Deck, but in actual console form, they would dominate the market. I think consoles will always be a thing for like a plug into TV and play, and I think eventually a console will become a VR headset in the same way that the Quest 2 is like a console, basically. I think like the ultimate evolution of a console is a very powerful computer that is on your head because it's a VR headset. I don't think they'll go away. I think they'll just change. But like currently in the year 2024, I do not believe a console is good value. Steam Deck is already a console, and that's what I mean. I think you're going to get more value out of a Steam Deck than you will ever get out of a console. Because if you have a Steam Deck, you get the whole thing of it being portable. It is just a console. It is extremely simple to use. It is Steam and it is everything. But you also get the added benefit of Steam sales and not being locked into a walled garden where the only person controlling prices is Sony. Well, I know it's not just Sony, right? But it's the Sony store. They control like the rules of the game. The ROG is better than the Steam Deck. I've heard people do like comparisons of them. I genuinely don't know because I don't have either one. I thought about buying a Steam Deck, but then I asked myself a very simple question. When would I use it? And then I realized that I never leave my room. So I don't need it. I could play it in bed. But why would I? Because I'm not going to do that. I would never play it in bed. I don't need like a portable console at all. I'm always here. So why don't I just put that money into my PC instead?